Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Lifting for Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. I am Joanna Michaels, and I am here today with my co-hosts, Katrina Schaff and Christopher Stephen Jacobs. Thank you all for joining us now and in the future. Tonight, we are going to do a follow-up show to one we had last year. This was show number 6, entitled Love. Last year, everyone was requesting for us to give our understanding on soul families and soulmates, so we did our best. Now we wish to expand on last year's conversation and not only give you a more enhanced perspective of soulmates, but also a more comprehensive conversation on love in general. You all have heard us over and over again that we are moving into an area where we will learn about more topics such as unity and love, meaning we don't know it all yet. So if we have not mastered love, then we certainly haven't mastered unconditional love. Yes, I think after this last year of listening to us, most of you all would agree that we have been in a place where conditional love abounds. Most of us can give plenty of examples where we gave and received those conditions. But that is where we were. So how about where we are going? So let's get into it. But first, let's have our opening affirmation and blessing. Katrina?
The best love is the kind that awakens the soul, that makes us reach for more, that plants a fire in our hearts and brings peace to our minds.
All right. Yeah, that was a great affirmation or blessing. Now, before we talk about tonight's topic, I would like to make a few announcements. We wish to absolutely thank everyone for all of your wonderful support throughout these past few years. Your feedback of encouragement and appreciation for the information we feel compelled to share has kept us going when we at times have our human moments of doubt. And with that, I want to help people understand a few practical human points that we face here. First off, I want to again help everyone understand that providing the energetic clearing services that I and my mother provide requires a lot of energy. This is a hard concept to grasp for many. It may be because oftentimes there is confusion between the vast varieties of services that channelers and mediums and energy workers offer. All three of which are just labeled as psychics amongst the general public much of the time. Depending on what you do as a psychic directly affects the energies needed to do such work. As logic would dictate, clearing someone's energy field of unwanted interference and clearing a property requires much more energy than just speaking to another entity. And actively channeling another being, meaning allowing the other being into your energy or body, requires more energy than just speaking to them and repeating what they say. And for me personally, I can say that bilocating when I do a session to help a person or clear something requires more energy than speaking with someone in person. So for the work I do and the energy I put out to do it, it makes it very difficult for me to conduct multiple sessions a day remotely from my home. So when you realize that the fee for my service is actually a daily wage, and that I am not conducting multiple sessions per day, and most of my sessions are an hour session, and then you take out 30% for taxes, regular plus self-employment, then maybe you can come to the conclusion that I by no means make a doctor's salary. And yes, there have been comments such as this. This issue of being called to do such work and then balance the very human need to exist in a world that still requires funds to meet day-to-day needs has been challenging. Then I asked Joanna to join me so we could expand our efforts, and she left her well-paying position since she felt the call as well. So we are now faced with the task of balancing our 5D desires with the realities of the world as it currently exists. Joanne and I have thought long and hard about this balance, and we have come to the conclusion that it is time to ask for support from those around us. We have decided that we can meet our needs if we offer instructional and informational videos for a small fee on Vimeo. We have also decided that we should forward a Patreon system of support, and those who provide this service or this support will have access to additional information and time with us. What we will not do is end this free access show for one that requires a fee. We will just offer more to those who can and will support our efforts. In this way, we feel that we can find a way to be balanced and continue to be inspired to do our work. So you will be hearing more about this in the coming weeks. Now on to the topic for this evening. It has come to my attention that the subject of soulmates is far more complex than I gave it previously. Are soulmates made together? Yes, of course. Are soul families bonded that people that are not soul family? Yes, of course. However, soulmates, as well as soul family, may have past life issues to work out, as well as have some issues pre-programmed into them within this expression, such as if two soulmates were in the SSP and now have to work through those memory fragments, as well as an ancient assorted past with each other, as well as others. In a soulmate relationship, the two partners may encounter struggles in that relationship from oppression, but may also have the aforementioned issues that the oppression may use against them. This is what I mean by the term the Rubik's Cube. Think for a moment about a Rubik's Cube. Think how when you first buy one, that all the colors are aligned, but it takes someone mixing it up behind their back, or in this case, past experiences, to misalign all of the colors. Afterwards, it is up to the owner to realign the cube's colors back to their original configuration. This process can be frustrating if you could not see how the one that misaligned it to begin with did so. Sometimes that misaligning was brought about by a higher form of yourself long before you entered this expression, and thusly you came in with the knowledge on how to realign the colors back to their original state, or at least one that is applicable with this current expression or modality. If you have two well-aligned soulmates that got this realignment all out of the way in previous lifetimes or expressions, then a relationship seems more of an easy ride. But if you have a couple that has to deal with all of these issues now, including those of backstage and SSP 20 and backs, then the Rubik's Cube between them can seem more daunting. This is something that I have come to learn being with my soulmate and around soul family, that all parties involved have now brought all past trauma to a head, and now must find a way to deal with it and release it for good. Not only realigning their very own color cube, but paving the way for others to do the same. The energetics between soulmates and soul family will bring you together, but it may not always stay that way, and problems may take multiple lifetimes to work through. However, if you steadfastly work through them all here, then your relationship here in this expression will be better for it. Soulmates are a powerful combination that the overage of darkness hates. The Rubik's Cube concept may even dictate that soulmates may end up on opposing sides, just so that both sides must work out their issues here. Also, sometimes you may ask the closest brings to you, Also, sometimes you may ask the closest beings to you to assist any difficult experience, and you trust them to give it their all. This is another example of how you could end up on opposing sides during a lifetime. In regards to right now, I can say that there are more soulmates present than in previous lifetimes. I can also say that darkness did everything possible to misalign these soulmates to make it difficult to stay together. And again, as I said above, a lot of effort to misalign people happened within the backstage and SSP 20 and backs in hopes that it would affect the soulmates when they were here and now on the stage. Honestly, I do not know if all soulmates will realign themselves and stay together this lifetime. This could be why there were so many, to allow for a tipping point of energies. This certainly would be an alignment of a chess move by the light. One last thing that I would like to say on this subject is this. Some soulmates are actually separated by time and space, and a person here on Earth is chosen as the significant other to the other soulmate here on Earth. This does not mean that there is no love there, quite the opposite. This just means that the soulmate is influencing here versus physically being here. Now I'd like to point out a fact that I have been recently made aware of. Before now, I knew of several nymph species, some that drew energy out of people, some that interfered with relationships, and now some that are sexual counterbalances. So there are both benevolent and malevolent nymphs. In regards to those benevolent nymphs, these ladies' jobs out there as part of the nature code is to help balance those energies in and around humans so that their sexual experiences are more balanced and pleasurable. It just so happens that I batted away all of them because I thought that their energies would interfere with my relationship with Joanna. Part of the reason why was because I had experiences with malevolent nymphs. Malevolent nymphs will appear as beings and as good beings and will want your attention given to them and not your human partner. They will most definitely interfere and cause problems within your relationships. If you become a bit addicted to these nymphs, they can actually jump around into different individuals and lead to people having multiple partners and affairs, even if a person is actually not really wanting to. However, benevolent nymphs just provide a nurturing and clearing energy. They are not seen, and most humans would never even know they are around. So this is where their energies provide a counterbalance to interfering energies within relationships. They do not want individual relationships. They just want to clear interfering energies or re-energize someone who is feeling worn. If you are able to see these entities, please make sure you use discernment to see if the beings you interact with are exercising their own personal agendas or a more universal one. Always ask to only deal with benevolent beings and ask your guides to have your back. The last thing I want to talk about is something many people reflect on and are confused about. Many people who have had unsuccessful relationships where children are born into them often report that all seemed so well in the beginning and then something drastically went wrong. Oftentimes there is a lot of guilt or grief over this because people ask, why did I not see the signs before I committed myself to this person? From what I understand, people are often steered to be together to procreate that next generation. Once that procreation is completed, then there is no longer a need for this relationship. This has most definitely occurred as malevolence is pursuing certain genetics or enzymes, and certain offspring can provide them with desired product. And I hate to seem so cold saying this, but this is exactly how the beings doing such things feel about the humans. They do this too. I also know that benevolence tries to assert itself at times as well. Sometimes plans seem to backfire, and the child is actually a very bright light spoiling the plans of much malevolence. So again, there seems to be chess moves between benevolence and malevolence here. Oftentimes, when I have asked how benevolence spoiled their plan in this area, I was told it was source, quote unquote. So again, as we have said before, in this experience, malevolence is not as in charge as they think they are. I hope this broader understanding can help some people realize any feelings of guilt, or excuse me, I have to reread that. I hope this broader understanding can help some people release any feelings of guilt or grief over relationships that did not work out. Moving forward is the best thing you can do for yourself. And now with that, I will move on to my mother.
Good evening, everyone. There are all kinds of love. There's the love of our family and friends, our pets, the love of nature, music, art, and our spiritual beliefs. But what about the love of our partner? Is there a difference between those loves compared to our partner or our soulmate? Yes, I think so. We love a lot of things we are passionate about that give us joy, satisfaction, and many people and places and things that stir our soul. But I feel these are things we choose and acquire over a lifetime that we rely on for peace, comfort, happiness, and personal growth. Seeking and finding our true love or soulmate is not always that easy. We want that perfect mate. We say we want someone just like ourselves, our equal, that has mutual likes, is passionate, has a good sense of humor, and so on. This seems like a perfect goal, but that goal can be attained, but it may take a while to reach. Looking for that one person that fulfills all our dreams for some can be a lifetime search, or you may luck out and find them right away. For some, it is just a process of figuring out what they like, what they don't like, and what they truly need for all facets of their lives. Figuring out who truly is your mate can be, and usually is, many trials and errors with some, or many presumed soulmates. It is also self-growth, learning who you are and knowing that nothing is perfect and nothing is forever. Love can be, and usually is not merely finding that perfect mate, but figuring out who you are, what you believe, and what you need to learn that will make you happy, and in return make that other person happy too. Do any of us really understand what love is? When we are young and in our teens and 20s, we assume everything we feel about another could possibly be love. We date others because they're popular, they're good looking, dress well, or just have a car. We feel something for them, and we are hoping desperately that it is love, but mostly it's because we have a feeling inside that makes us desire closeness. It comes down to sexual attraction. There are exceptions to everything I'm saying, but when you're young, love equals sex. We also have a desperation for marriage, babies, house of our own, and living happily ever after. We make choices based on decisions that match our dreams, but have very little to do with a long-term relationship. We do not think things through because we do not want to be alone. Many of these relationships do not last because there's not enough of everything to keep them together. Some stay for the long run and never meet their dreams, but others let go and walk away and hopefully learn what they were meant to learn from the relationship. Could this type of relationship be pre-planned? Sure it could. I do feel there is at times outside interference or agendas that set us up with someone not right for us, but that has the right DNA to produce the offspring that they want to come through. This can be malevolent or benevolent. We may be in that relationship just to figure out what we really need. There are many reasons we have relationships with people we look back and say, what was I thinking? But it is not what you were thinking, but where you needed to be at the time for your personal growth and where someone wanted you to be. Love becomes an ability or a talent you hone through relationships that did not work. It teaches you each time one more thing that doesn't work and teaches you what you truly want. With time, healing, and understanding of why you did what you did, most of us pick ourselves up and continue the search for our soulmate. As you get older, or I'd like to think smarter and more aware of who you are and your needs, you start looking and wanting a relationship for different reasons. We now know basically what works and does not work. We know what we would like some things in common and require certain things, but we now know the things that once mattered, we no longer find important. We still know that love equals sex, but it now requires a very compatible energy that goes along with it. What is that compatible energy? Well, my description is it is an energy vein that runs through us that has a chemical reaction when we come into the presence of our soulmate. This is what I would call the spark you feel when you meet, a knowing that this is the right person. Yes, we do have energy connections with family, friends, and pets, but this spark we feel with our soulmate is very different. It is an energy vibration or an inner tracking device that is so strong that it can compel you to leave a current relationship, change your job, cross state lines, leave a family and friends, and so on. It can be a pre-planned energy, as in destiny, that guides us to the right person, or an afterthought, it can be to the wrong person. Either way, it was something meant for us to experience. When you zone in on the right one, there is very little doubt you have found them. That saying, "you cannot help who you love," is very true. It may be the opposite of what you were looking for, but when you find it, you know. When the right one appears, no matter who you are with or what you are doing, it all becomes unimportant. You love this person and you will do anything to keep them and be with them. Is this wrong? No, I don't think so. If this person you know is the person you are meant to be with, you will no longer be able to stay where you are at that moment. Releasing someone to stop enabling someone to walk away from someone so they too can find that person they belong with, this is truly loving someone. Never stay where you know you do not belong. So again, what is love? Is it a strong affection for someone else that comes out of friendship? Is it sexual attraction, admiration, destiny, or that spark that draws you in and cannot keep you apart? Is it having things in common, or is it just having a need to be together because it feels right? It all is part of love, but the energy and spark are what keeps it together. You should never settle for anything less. In our life, we fall madly in love and then we fall right back out of it after learning and teaching for a short period of time. Was that love, lust, or having to comply with something that was meant to happen? There are many events in our life that we feel we did not handle well, but we should never beat ourselves up for those times. We did what we felt we had to do. It is necessary to live your life the way you want to and with who you need to be with. If you have not found that soulmate, please do not give up hope. If your tracking device is working, I assure you, love will find you. I found my soulmate and I feel blessed, but it took some bad times and some not too good relationships before I did. It took a lot of inner search and really knowing who I was before I was ready to meet him. When I look back at what I called mistakes, I know now they were just stepping stones and many lessons I needed to learn on the way to finding that perfect person for me. The saying goes, nothing is permanent and nothing is forever. That is, unless that nothing is the one you know on a soul level to be the perfect one for you. Then nothing never changes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Katrina. That was wonderful, and I know a lot of people needed to hear that. So what I want to bring up is a subject that you have heard me say before, and I'm going to say it again, and that is my understanding of what the word love actually means out there amongst our guides and other beings. For those of you out there who know what I am going to say, well, don't roll your eyes at me. You see, there is actually something called the Rule of 7 in education that says it takes a repetition of 7 times to get most concepts into a person's head. So I actually have more times of saying this left to go. Now, if you actually really get this only after 7 times or less, then good for you. I, on the other hand, am a slow learner at times, and you can just ask Chris because he most definitely rolls his eyes at me when he gets past telling me something 10 times, but that's another story. And by the way, from my perspective, I am helping Chris learn patience and tolerance, and I take my job very seriously. And from what the guides say, we have each been rolling our eyes at each other for a very, very long time. But again, that's another story for another day. So, okay, let me get back on topic. Anyway, from what I have been told, love is an ability. You are infinite energy. This is what we have been preaching for the last year and a half. You are energy that moves and flows and can co-create. Everything around you and including you is all one, or what we call source. And most everyone will agree that source and all of the components equals infinite intelligence. So what is love? It is the ability to take infinite intelligence and create with infinite energy. In layman's terms, it is your ability to take what is around you and co-create within it. The more you can do, the greater your ability to love. So love, from what I have been told and understand, is about co-creating, moving ahead. Nowhere does it say that co-creation is good or bad or benevolent or malevolent. Those are 3D terms used in duality. It is just the skill of co-creating. You can co-create a flower or a spell. And that is a hard concept to grasp because of the misteachings that have made people believe that potentially harmful situations will leave us once we are out of 3D. But that is most certainly not true, which is why discernment is so important. Now, it is my understanding that the vast majority of souls will eventually grow. And I mean grow, it takes some time, like after 8D, to adopt certain internal characteristics because of their enhanced co-creative skills. So if I have understood the guides correctly, there is a point at which what we think of as malevolence does not seem to continue in the learning paradigm. But for us, that won't be for quite a while yet. I think this leaving malevolence comes naturally as we all learn that it takes time to acquire proficiency in these skills, and I mean co-creating, which means we learn more about how to love. And from within there seems to come a greater understanding and respect and caring for those around you doing the same thing, co-creating, learning how to love more. And our natural curiosity also takes over as we watch and check closer into what others are doing. And we get amazed at one another's naturally because of their abilities. We're just more amazed at life and what's going on. Thus, a unity develops as well. This is my understanding of where we are going. But for now, we have to understand that our sense of what love is right now will change over time. As was said last year, we have often thought of love in the terms of what can it do for me? And if it stops doing for me, is love still there? Think about it. So now sit back and think of all your life and what you have loved to date. Now think of it in terms of co-creating. If you are thinking of a relationship with another person, what were your co-creating expectations versus what actually occurred? Did you want an equal partnership in energy movements? Did it occur? Was there imbalance? Where was the imbalance? Sometimes the partner may have not given enough, but sometimes we ourselves were the imbalance because we said we wanted a partnership, but we really wanted to be taken care of, which means we may not have put in enough energy. We ourselves were the imbalance. Most of you, if you reflect, will see many different examples of this in your lives. All types of imbalances. Sometimes you gave too much, and sometimes you gave too little. Again, this is how we learn who we are and what we want by having a multitude of experiences. In regards to loving relationships with pets, well, it's kind of hard to have an equal partnership with pets, in my opinion, because humans and pets are not having the same experience. Humans have been in 3D learning and pets have been in 2D learning. Many feel their pets are better than humans, and I certainly get it. The experience of pets, from what I am told, is about learning to be supportive to humans and other entities. They exude that positive energy towards us because that is their function. This is a part of what they are learning, and they will protect and heal and comfort without any thought to their own life force. They will let themselves burn out of loving loyalty to you. It feels so wonderful to receive such joy and gratitude from them. They help us remember what giving freely can do for another. And they give us the opportunity to practice in co-creative relationships and feeling success in these relationships. And sometimes we really need this because learning how to co-create with someone also in 3D is so much harder. And moving into understanding and having respectful and successful relationships within a newer understanding of unity and love isn't going to be a walk in the park either, as most of you out there are starting to realize. Loving and co-creating with plants has some similarities as pets. Humans and plants are not on equal experiences, but the success and joy that comes with nature is so enriching. And like having pets, it is beautiful and can give a needed spiritual boost. For some people, this lifetime may just be about the joyful interaction with pets or nature. This may be a needed experience because of the past lives a person has had. And as I said, that is beautiful. But if your soul wants an experience of co-creating with other humans, this substitution will not fill that need. You may still feel inside of you a bit of a hole. Why do I say this? Because life has been hard and people would naturally want to retreat to places of joy and safety. And so we must all reflect. We all must see ourselves and know ourselves. If you have loving pets and or work with nature and feel good, but still something is missing, please reflect and figure out what that is. What more co-creating do you want to do? It is just my hypothesis, but since we are moving into unity and love, well, I am guessing that for many, it requires some sort of additional human contact. More people to talk to share with, to listen to co-create with. And within a relationship with other humans, what do you want that co-creation to look and feel like? Do you desire an equal relationship of energy exchange? Or do you want to give more? Or do you want to give less? From what I understand, I think we have all had our fill of giving more or giving less, and now we want to try the balancing of equal. And how do we do that? We're going to learn. Well, again, we start by reflecting on ourselves. How hard is it for us to stay in balance? When we accept the truths about ourselves, we then learn to apply those same truths to others. So if we understand who we are and want to be accepted as we are, then we apply the same to others. So conversely, if we do not accept others, then we really do not yet accept ourselves. Now again, I am not talking accepting bad behavior. I am talking about accepting that other soul, the one that Source created and loves just as much as you. This is truth, And I know you have heard this in one form or another before. So if you look out amongst the people of the world, from my perspective, you are seeing a lot of people who still do not know who they are. So that is why there is so much heat, let's say, out there now, to give people the opportunity to find out who they are. And once we find ourselves, then we will be able to really co-create what we want as a group. So I do encourage you all to be brave and reach out to others and have just small conversations to see if you want to co-create a relationship with them, be it acquaintances, friends, or more. Start with sharing who you are and ask them to do the same. Practice the acceptance that you desire and see if they can do the same. Some won't, so you may choose to not be so close. But more importantly, some will. And again, remember my definition of love I gave you. Just exchange the word co-creating with love. Meaning, why are you doing this? Why do you want to co-create in others? You just may want more love in your life. It really is as simple as that. Our spiritual GPS system is hardwired to love or create more and more and more. As we grow and learn, we naturally get better at it. So you have heard this before, and I will say it again. Our existence, it really is all about love.
All right. That was good. Now we got to the point in the show that we have the galactic contribution. So give me just a moment and I will see who's around. All right. Okay. While you were talking, Joanna, the only person that the only being that I see in this room at the moment is Jesus. So he's not. This is actually appropriate, but this is actually very rare that he shows up. So I kind of see him, but let me see here. When I said we'll look around and see who's around the room, I just heard him say me. So let's see. Let's see here. And yes, I know he will. He's reminding me. He will say he's the one called Jesus. I understand that. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Give me a minute. He's coming in slowly for some reason. Yeah, give me just a minute. There's some kind of difference here. Give me a minute. Yes, everyone. As he has just said, I am the one you know of as Jesus. Even though you know my actual name, I digress. You find yourselves in a situation of duality and dualisms. Yes, this is of the dimension that you are a part of, everyone. But that does not mean that love cannot flourish in a dimension of dualisms. Yes, there are many different people that will tell you what the definition of love is, many different perceptions, perspectives, and many incongruencies, and many different perspectives on the subject of love. Some people avoid it altogether. In this, I will say, the kind of love that I have come through to say is the unconditional kind. This is not just of relationships, soulmates, and what have you, and soul family. This is the kind that all of you in time will experience for each other, the entire population of your world, be it from any of my actual teachings out there and any other being that has brought forth this information. Some of you are elements of us and us of you that are bringing through this information very steadfastly and in very different and vastly different ways. This is something that I'm about to say be hard for people to hear, especially those that are of the devout nature. They hear or think they've heard me call myself the I am, or the I am of love, or I am the I am. And this is very vastly true. However, you are all of that nature. You are all part of the source, or the God as you would call it. You are all the I am. It is not just myself, it is not just yourselves. It is everything and everyone in creation. This is why unconditional love will be what eventually surfaces for your kind when that realization comes to pass. This is the message that I have been brought in to give you this evening. You know me as Jesus, Enlil, and a variety of other names. And I thank you for listening to the sound of my voice and my vibration. Thank you. For some reason, there was a connection difference there. I don't know if it was the vibration or what, but there was some reason he couldn't hang around long. So all I know is him being coupled with me, my heart was jumping a little bit, but there was something. It's not that he was off in any way. There was just some friction there. So let me see. Let's see if there's actually anybody else around for any part of the show. If not, yes, Isaac, I know you're there. Thank you. All right. He raises his hand every single time. So, yes, Zorak, I know you're back there too. Everybody on the planet can see you behind me. So, let's see. Yes, Ophelia, I see you. Wait, you're actually wanting to say something? Huh. Okay. All right. That's very interesting. She's never said anything on the show except in typed form. So let's see. Huh. All right. Give me a minute. As I see an ominous hand stretching out from her from the top of the shelf here. So, all right. So I just see this. So it's like, okay. Greetings, everyone. You know me as Ophelia, the water element, and soulmate to the one we knew as Cameron. In this, I can say that these bonds stretch across time, space, and all variety of elements, and all varieties of omniversal situations, and in universes and multiverses and expressions that instances occurred and some did not, choices occurred and some did not, beings came into existence and some did not. In this, I can honestly tell you that nothing dies, even though the physicality does. And a previous expression is known to some and most. In this, I can say that the multitude of choices that you have in your multiverse, and thusly because of your Mandela effect, some beings that were, you would call them sacrificial lambs or sacrificial archetypes in previous expressions, no longer apply in that modality in this one. Yes, one event can occur that someone passes, yet another part of the multiverse where that incident was not necessary, and therefore the folding of the timelines makes it possible for that being to be brought back again. In this particular connection is always valid, this soulmate connection or soul family-esque connection. In this bonding, as I've said, is across time, space, omniversal situations. All directly related to the oneness that dear Jesus was speaking about moments ago. In this, my compatible matrices as an elemental being in your existence also allows for the return of another just as compatible as myself. In this, some will find this hard to believe because sometimes their soulmate is out there amongst the stars. Sometimes they are here on Earth. And sometimes both are here on Earth at the exact same moment in time. Think of that type of situation, but more of a multiversal perspective, an omniversal perspective. In this, I know this is not necessarily in the layman that you all would want, but just know the layman version of this particular message that I give is this: love never dies, even across the vast cosmos. That is the gist of the message that I wish to bring forth this evening. Thank you. Yeah, her energy is very different. I know she was like Cameron, but the same elemental type, but there's something different about that. There's a slight incompatibility with a human core, but it was easy to channel her. So I'll give anybody else a chance to talk, and we will move on. Yes, Isaac. Yes, you. Are you going to say something, or you're just going to point to yourself? Okay. Oh, you're just going to point to yourself. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, okay. Anybody else? Balzer, are you pulling the same crap too? Yeah, okay, I kind of figured. Okay. Anybody, legitly anybody else? No. Okay. All right.
Okay, guys, then we're going to go on to the listeners' questions. So we have 3 questions here that Chris went ahead and looked into and may have done some pre-channeling. So I'm going to read the question. Chris is going to give it an answer. So here's the first one. Recently, there was another helicopter crash on Fort Campbell. 2 pilots are dead. Was this just an accident, or was something going on that they are hiding? Also, what secrets are they keeping from the public, like underground bases, portals, bad aliens, and what about the area they called the Back 40? They also have a secluded FEMA area that no one is allowed near. If you could come to Fort Campbell and see all of it, I bet you'd find so much crap. What can be done to help clear it? It's massive.
All right. It was Simeon that actually answered this question. So let's see. It may not have touched on every point that you were wanting, but let's see. This year one's was an accident in training. What I mean is that is always the cover story when those with power misuse said power and cover up the unattainable to them. What I mean is this, or is, they feel genetic purity and genetically perfect additions to their genome will help them with to ascend and to meet their gods. This could not be any further from the truth. They guard what they do not understand, and yet they feel they are perfect to the core. No one is in this expression of life, yet this, actually, let me repeat that. No one in this expression of life, yet the source within you all is, and he meant perfection. Remember this. They wait. God blast it. I'm going to have to edit this. Remember this. The way you clear it up is by allowing the positive energies to flow through that base as well as all others. Do not block it with your hatred of the cabal. They are not all powerful as far as secrets go, but you, dear people, are. Remember this, please. Blessings to you all. Simeon.
Okay, question number 2. Can you please give us an update on the spiritual court regarding interference with humans by the negative entities and good galactics having their hands tied by the rules of non-interference? I have not heard if there was any decision reached. If it is still in deliberation, would it help for others to add their names to the list of plaintiffs? And she said, I have asked grandfather's son to be added to that list.
All right. This answer I gave was kind of lengthy, so let's stay with it. This is a really strange case. The Galactic Federation was trying its best to keep any and all transmissions out of the system from benevolent ETs. I get the fact that the good ETs want slow disclosure, but no disclosure? No, the Galactic Federation was wrong in that decision. This is why I called them out on it. All court proceedings were overturned, and the court itself was audited. The court is now no more, and the Galactic Federation has some new leaders. This does not mean that any ET race is coming down here to save us. Are the ones working in the background? Are there ones working in the background to get rid of the overage? Yes, indeed, there are. There still are rules and galactic laws dictating non-interference, but not like before. Since a lot of these galactics are of a higher density, if humans saw them in person, they would automatically look up to them as deities or gods, or try to destroy or kill them. Also, they do not want to shock and scare us. This is because of the harvester threat. If there were mass panic, the mass panic energy would feed the nearly dead harvesters to the point that they would be able to have a greater foothold on us. As for the negative entities, they will remove them, just as long as a person's soul lessons or mission does not dictate that the entity stay.
Okay, and our last question. I have heard many speak of the power of source light, but I don't hear anyone talk about the sound. Since sound or vibration creates matter and light, it seems that it is the very essence of source and is perhaps even more powerful or important than the light is. That is why I call on the light and sound of source for protection or whatever. Can the Galactics comment on this?
Yes, and this was another one by Simeon. Yes, dear ones, Simeon here with a short but meaningful answer to this question. Sound and light are integral parts of creation, and as such, calling on these two sources are equals. Now, as far as protection goes, yes, call on it, but more importantly, utilize the sound frequencies and light spectrums within to protect and guide you. Yes, we are here to work with you, but not for you. Get it yet? Hee hee. Blessings to you all. Simeon.
Okay, everybody. So those were our questions, and now we're at the end of the show. So, of course, we would like to give our ending affirmation and blessing, and this one happens to be from Simeon as well. And he said, love in this new age may seem very different than in ages past. This is because your understanding of what love is has changed. The concept never has. Blessings to you all, Simeon. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight on our Love 2.0. And we are all hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And we will talk again next week, guys. See ya. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.